And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where tonight it is the first of 3 races this weekend. Starting off right here with the Menard Truck Series here at the Las Vegas. I don't even know why I'm saying Vegas so many times, because I'm just excited to be here. It is our 3rd race of the season, and just in case if you weren't with us this past weekend at the Minnesota Motorsports Park, we only got about 41 of the scheduled 100 laps in that unfortunately saw the game wound up crashing. But if you were to ask Russell Blaze, he will joke with you and say that it was a power outage over at the Minnesota Motorsports Park, and it was actually Haley Tullis, not Carson Green. I wound up making an error this past Thursday night at the Minnesota Motorsports Park, saying that it was Carson Green who was out front at the moment that the game crashed, but instead it was actually Haley Tullis who was out front, and she nabs her first career Menard's Truck Series win here at the Las Vegas, or at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. But we are here at Vegas here, out west here for part of the, I would say part of the West Coast swing, part of it, quote unquote, if you will. Because as far as WRLA action, we're not going to be able to see it again until a little bit later on in March with the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series heading out to the Auto Club Speedway. And the trucks will get a pretty good and hefty break before we get back at it a little bit later on. If I remember correctly, we're going back racing at the Martinsville Speedway after this race here. So these drivers are going to have a lot of free time on their hands, unless if you're a Cup driver, for instance, then that's a little bit of a different story. Speaking of stories, one of the bigger ones that we've got here for this race, and especially moving forward all throughout the rest of the 2026 season, if you look pretty closely, you're going to notice that there are some trucks in here that are completely brand new here. For example, the number 16, which is now being piloted by Nick Kennedy. And then as well as the 10, that is Brock Nelson. We're also going to see the 12, which is, I do believe, Addison Jarrell. Jarrell didn't make the race, unfortunately. And then here's the number 25, which is now being piloted by John Andrews. And if you take a little bit of a closer look, that is right. Dodge is back here in the WRLA, and we're looking to see them go full time in the 2027 season, not just here in the Truck Series, but potentially in the Cup level as well. Xfinity is going to be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see what we can do in order to make that work. But nonetheless, here Dodge is back with 3 out of their 4 trucks in the field, and it's good to see them back. So you kind of saw a little bit of an accidental peak of the point standings, but you're going to see it for real this time, as we're going to take a look at your points coming into this weekend's race here at Vegas. Emmanuel Hartnett and Haley Tullis are both tied for the points lead. They both managed within the first 2 races to get the exact same number of points. Of course, Emmanuel Hartnett won at Daytona just 2 weeks ago, and then finished, I want to say, 7th at Minnesota this past Thursday night. So he still holds on to the points lead. Then in second, technically points leader, but scored second after finishing 7th at Daytona and then finishing as the race winner at Minnesota. She is second. Haley Tullis is also with 81 points, both with 1 win apiece. Shauna Martin is third with 57 points to her name. Joshua Cornish fourth with 52, tied with Chris Reynolds, who completes your top 5. Then it's Carson Green with 48 points to his name. Carson Green. I don't know if I said Carter Green. I do apologize. But Carson Green with 48 points to his name. Then Carter Friesen with 47. Then Michael Davis, Eli Bright, and Tyler Ferris are all tied with 44 points in their bank accounts. But of course, Davis breaks that tie due to Google Sheet physics. So he would be 8th, Eli Bright 9th, and then Tyler Ferris would complete your top 10. Here's a look at the rest of your point standings coming into this weekend. And if you look a little bit closely, you see Carson Miller, Kelsey Higdon, both of those drivers are tied for 11th, along with Bradley Reed. So it's a three-way tie. What I didn't mention, what I didn't mention for this season, but I have mentioned in previous years of doing NR competition, is that the glories of the early stages of the year is that everybody is going to be super close together in the point standing, so that you're going to see a lot of ties all up and down the running order of the point standings in the early stages of the season. But as we get later on, that you'll start to see a little bit more of a difference, more points gaps between one another. So it should make for a very, very interesting, rest of the season here. But in the early stages, it's already getting pretty interesting. Let's take a look at your starting lineup here for the for our third race of the season here at Las Vegas. Max Anderson starts on the pole position. Alex Richards lines up alongside. Then it's Carson Green and last Thursday's winner, Haley Tolis, making up the second row. Then Bradley Ream and David Byers make up the third row. Reagan DeFeo and Carson Miller. That's row 4. Sam Oskin and Jesse Turner complete your top 10. And then it's Carter Friesen, John Andrews, the highest qualifying Dodge in the field. Then Bryce Egan, Foster Henderson, Brock Nelson, Joshua Cornish, Noah Chistow, Michael DeFeo, Ronald House, Tyler Ferris, Eli Bright, Chris Reynolds, Chase McClure, Nick Kennedy, Harley Higdon, Noah Clifton, Wayne Lopez, and then Elijah Gordon completing the top 28. And then row 15 sees Liam Davis and Bruno Diacomo. That's your top 30. Then Kelsey Higdon, Andrew Miller, Shauna Martin, Billy Kidd, and then the two drivers that finished 1-2 at Daytona to kick off the year, that being Emmanuel Hartnett and Michael Davis. So things not looking too good in qualifying for Emmanuel Hartnett. So it should be pretty interesting to see if he's able to weasel his way out of that 35th starting position. And that is really good news for Haley Tolis if she wants to leave Vegas with that points lead. So it should be a pretty interesting day here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 67 laps to distance here at this 1.5 mile facility. We might see some drivers take some gambles when it comes to pit strategy, when it comes to tires, but more importantly, the fuel game is going to be probably the conversation here for tonight's race, and it's probably going to be the conversation throughout the rest of the weekend with Xfinity and Cup here as well. But for this truck race, it's about to get dicey. It's time to go racing from here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The drivers are strapped into their trucks. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 36 behemoths on the racetrack, we got to get the command to fire the engines. So let's go trackside and get just that.
Drivers, start your engine!
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Engines are fired. Pace truck is rolling off, and so are these 36 competitors. For the trucks, if I'm not mistaken, it is the first time ever that we are seeing Truck Series action here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We saw the I want to say maybe since 2017, because I mean, that's possibly the case, but I can't even remember the trucks being here. The only other division that I do remember being here is the Cup Series that saw Marty Johnson go to victory lane here back in 2017, but a lot has changed since then. And now we're getting ready to see Truck Series action from this 1.5 mile facility. Max Anderson and Alex Richards, they make up your front row. Runner-up in the point standings, tied for the points lead, rather, as well. That being Haley Tullis starting in 4th. Let's see what kind of night that she's going to have. Pace truck is off. Max Anderson and Alex Richards, they're going to lead us down to the green flag to get the 3rd race of the year underway from here at Las Vegas. Good clean start as Max Anderson jumps out with the lead. And Alex Richards already having his hands full with the 2 Four Sport racing trucks on the bottom. That's Carson Green in the 99 and the 88. Bradley Ream down there on the inside. Anderson's going to lead lap number 1, but here comes Reagan DeFeo, going to make it 3 abreast coming off of turn number 2. Green is going to back out of that one, but he's going to find himself in another 3 wide situation with Richards in the middle, Carter Friesen on the bottom, and in up top, that's Carson, and well, up top is Carson Green. So 3 wide, 2 rows deep. As Anderson continues to show the way, free of all traffic currently as of right now. Austin breaks out with the 2nd position. Then Carter Friesen in 3rd. His teammate, Max Anderson's teammate, Bryce Egan, coming up into the 4th position. And here's Brock Nelson challenging for 5th. Brock Nelson drove the Jennifer Jo Cobb racing machine at Daytona for the first, to try to get into the first 2 races. Made Daytona, missed Minnesota. And now here he is in one of the first of 4 Dodges in the, well, at least in the Menard Truck Series roster. Again, 3 of them are in this race, and you're seeing one of them right now inside of the top 10, but now being moved up to the outside as Friesen moves up to 2nd, and also Oskin taking over the top position from Max Anderson. Completely missed that battle for the race lead, and Simon Oskin now takes command of this race from here at Vegas. So it's a 2-truck breakaway between Oskin and Carter Friesen. And Friesen is going to waste no time heading into the 3rd corner. He's going to dive to the inside, coming off of turn number 4. Can he clear up in front of the 77 for this race lead? He does clear him, and Friesen is going to lead that lap over Simon Oskin. Here's Ronald House in the 41. Now already challenging for that top position. How about Chase McClure in the 98? In the overplay colors here for this weekend. Oh, 3 wide up here. That's Chris Reynolds in the middle. Wayne Lopez on the bottom. Oskin up top. That got really close to 4 wide there in this racetrack. Although it looks wide enough for 4 wide, you just can't do that here. Even 3 wide here at Vegas is pretty treacherous, especially coming off of turn number 4. We've seen it in years past where turn 4 has always been the trouble spot for 3 wide action, and we're going 3 wide again as Wayne Lopez dives in the inside of Friesen and House. Eli Bright in the middle of another 3 wide scenario with Harley Higdon and Simon Oskin. And so far, these trucks are actually pretty stable to handle 4 wide. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they've been able to last this long in 4 wide action. Wayne Lopez clears everybody to take over the top spot. Liam Davis moves up into 2nd. And Harley Higdon in 3rd. Andrew Miller, we'll see him on Saturday. He's up to 4th, with Harley Higdon now in the 5th position. Miller now moving up into 3rd, underneath of Higdon. And they're still 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Here's one of our other points leaders, that being Emmanuel Hartnett, who won at Daytona. Already moving up inside of the top 10. Remember, he started 35th in this race. And the guy right behind him, well, that's the runner-up from Daytona by 4 1/1000ths of a second, Michael Davis. Now currently shown in the 8th position, right behind Emmanuel Hartnett in the number 7. Lopez continuing to lead the charge from here at Las Vegas, coming around to complete 10 of the scheduled 67 laps here for this race. Down to the inside goes Liam Davis. This is for the top position, heading back into turn 1. And Davis is going to take over the top position, heading down the back straightaway. He'll clear up in front of the 1. And now that leaves the door wide open for Harley Higdon to put her nose down to the inside of the 19. Let's take a little bit of a look further back in the field to kind of see what kind of action that we're witnessing from here at Vegas. Everybody is still running in double file currently at the moment. We saw a little bit of that 3 wide action not too long ago, but now it is sort of shuffled back down to double file, and you kind of see the pack sort of, I guess you could say, a little bit more strung out than what we saw just a handful of laps ago from the beginning of the race. Now up front, Emmanuel Hartnett led that lap over Michael Davis just by 4/100ths of a second this time around, almost replicating what we saw at Daytona just 2 weeks ago. Instead, we see Michael Davis pull out to about 1/3 of a second over the rest of the field as they come off of turn 4. In the middle, just a little bit too further back, Nick Kennedy in the 16 now finds himself in the middle of a 3 wide situation. That's Shauna Martin up top, 3rd in the point standings coming into this race. Haley Tullis, one of the 2 points leaders here for this event. She's hoping to leave here at Vegas with the points lead. Emmanuel Hartnett trying to do the same thing. And Hartnett's faring a little bit better than Haley Tullis is position-wise, because he's inside of the top 10. He's going to try to thread the needle under his own teammate of Carson Miller in the 71. And up front, challenge for second as Chris Reynolds works his way to the inside of David Byers in the 42. Noah Clifton, we'll see him on Saturday. He's already up into the 4th position, now challenging for 3rd. And he got it across the line by 1/100th of a second. So he managed to get 2 birds with 1 stone there to complete lap number 15 here at Vegas. Michael Davis, once again, he continues to show the way. Foster Henderson in the 75 with Michael DeFeo in the 33. Already up inside of the top 10, and up front, race for the lead is on as here comes Chris Reynolds with a pretty fast Rackley hot rod down to the inside of Davis, heading back through turns 1 and 2. Henderson and DeFeo, they're going to drop right down in the inside and follow with the 26 of Chris Reynolds as they come off of turn number 4. Jesse Turner, a little bit further in the back. He's in the middle of a 3 wide situation. That's going to, I wouldn't say it was going to settle back down to a 2 wide deal, which it just did, actually. Jesse Turner. Formerly a NOS Energy Cup Series driver. Ran for Rookie of the Year honors in 2020. Now finds himself back here in the Truck Series in full-time competition. Right now running mid-pack. Ran up front of the field. They are still double file. Foster Henderson led that lap over Michael DeFeo, who now takes over the race lead. Andrew Miller now up into 2nd. Here is Haley Tullis challenging for 3rd underneath of Henderson. And there's Tyler Ferris in the 45. A 2-time winner in the Arcom Pepsi Amateur Series at Talladega in Kansas. And if I remember correctly, I mean, of course I remember Talladega's on the schedule. We'll go there in July. But as for Kansas, I do believe that might be on the schedule for the Truck Series. I might be wrong. I might have to go back and fact check myself. But those are two tracks that Tyler Ferris, has won at previously. Foster Henderson also has won an Archon Pepsi Amateur Series event back at Pocono in 2021. Challenge for second. Here comes Tolis underneath of Andrew Miller. DeFeo has got to be loving what he sees in his rearview mirror as he starts to pull out by about a little over a quarter of a second over the 81 of Tullis, who now officially takes second away. And you see the front pack just a little bit more strung out than what we've seen. Yeah, this whole entire pack is... Take a little bit further in the back. I mean, they are a little bit more strung out than what we've seen since the beginning of the race. I mean, we still get that occasional 3 wide, which we are seeing here. Lopez on the bottom, Ferris and Tolis in the midst of that 3 wide situation, but that gets settled down pretty quickly as Ferris clears up in front of Tolis. And, he's going to lead that outside line. Lopez now breaks free from the pack, and he's going to set his sights on Michael DeFeo heading back into turn 3. 13 laps away from the halfway mark of this race from here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you're just now tuning in, we've been caution-free this entire event as of right now. But we've seen some really good racing from these truck drivers nonetheless. DeFeo still leads the charge. Wayne Lopez and Tyler Ferris, they both have caught the 33 of DeFeo, and look at the one of Wayne Lopez peeking the nose down low on DeFeo. They're 3 wide further in the back. Ferris now going to challenge for second as Harley Higdon looks on from the 4th position. How about Bruno Diacomo in the 9 making it 3 wide underneath of Andrew Miller and I think another truck, possibly. But Diacomo started a little bit further in the back in this GCM number 9, and now he moves himself up into the 7th position. He has a win in the NOS Energy Cup Series that came at Watkins Glen when he fought and beat out Russell Blaze last year. Passed him with about 5 laps to go in that event and never looked back from there. And now Diacomo bringing this momentum over here to the Menard Truck Series, and I'd say for the most part, it has served him pretty well. Now he's holding on to that 7th position and starting to check out. He's kind of in a rhythm of his own here with little to no trucks around him as of right now. Up front, here comes Ferris underneath of DeFeo for the top spot. He's going to get it coming off of turn number 2. He'll clear up in front of DeFeo right here. Lopez in the 1. Man, he tried to take a peek underneath of Michael DeFeo, and that just wasn't going to happen for the 1. So Wayne Lopez is going to stay tucked in that 3rd spot, or is he going into turn 1? He just dove down to the inside of the 33 of Michael DeFeo. Now you have the 31 of Harley Higdon still sitting up here in this 4th spot. Now going to challenge for 3rd underneath of DeFeo. Diacomo has now made his way inside of the top 5 for the first time tonight. Now going to get challenged by the 88 of Bradley Ream. How about Andrew Miller? There's Reagan DeFeo in the 28. Now going to get challenged by Kelsey Higdon in the 15. Now down to the inside. Kelsey originally was supposed to go NOS Energy Cup Series racing back in 2019 if we were going to have a 2019 season, but unfortunately those plans had fallen through. But now here we are just several years later. She's now finds herself in the Truck Series for EGI, right now running in 9th. 3rd place. DeFeo getting by Harley Higdon, or at least edging ahead, heading back into turn 3. Gonna be able to clear the 31 for the top position, and here we go. Pit stops are getting ready to take place, but look out, everybody else. We're all getting pretty stacked up over here in the midst of this pack. 6 trucks have all made their way to pit road, that being Higdon, Ream, Byers, Martin, Davis, and Oskin. So they are the first few trucks to come on down to pit road on lap 30. Let's see who else comes on down this time around. Giacomo pits in along with the 3 leaders. And some other drivers kind of making that last minute decision. Carson Green came in really hot, and I think he might have possibly gotten himself a pit road penalty because he did not get on the brakes whatsoever. I mean, he was on the brakes, but unfortunately, those brakes did not pay any sort of dividends for him. All these drivers getting 4 tire stops. See Kelsey Higdon, Bright, and Liam Davis, Foster Henderson. Looks like the rest of these drivers are now all coming on down to pit road to complete our first round in what could potentially be our only round of green flag pit stops. But you still have to remember that fuel management could still come into play with about 5-ish laps to go from here at Las Vegas. Right around the halfway mark in this event, heading back through turns 3 and 4. We're going to keep an eye on Wayne Lopez here because chances are he might come out here with the race lead. Gonna wait and see what happens here as the field's gonna cycle back around. So Lopez right now currently shown in 11th. He just passed several other trucks that were making their way back out onto the racetrack and now coming back through the front straightaway. Indeed, Wayne Lopez is your race leader. Your top 10 looks like this on the halfway mark from here at Las Vegas. As Ferris, right-hand side of your screen, challenges for third on Bradley Ream's going to take it going through turn 3. Your top 10 looks like this. Hold on. Hold on again. Challenge for the lead is on as here comes Harley Higdon underneath of Wayne Lopez for the top position. And she's going to take that away, and Tyler Ferris is already on the attack, as is Bradley Ream, Bruno Giacomo as well. So your top 10, I'm going to say this as soon as they cross the start-finish line, Ferris is going to edge ahead of Harley Higdon, and he will be your race leader as of lap 36, I do believe, or lap 35, rather. He's your race leader. Bradley Ream in second. Then scored in third is Harley Higdon. Bruno Giacomo is scored in the 4th position. Wayne Lopez 5th. Michael Davis in 6th. Then Michael DeFeo in 7th. Then in 8th is David Byers, 9th Andrew Miller, and completing your top 10 is Harley Higdon. And look at this pack that has just started to form up a little bit more with Byers and DeFeo and now even Andrew Miller. They're now back in the mix, as is Kelsey Higdon as well. Look at the 2 Beacon Academy racing trucks of Sam at Oskin, and as well as the 7 of Emmanuel Hartnett. And they're trying to get back into the folds of things as well. And if we want to also take a look and see where Haley Tullis is at right now, you're going to find her back in the 23rd position, at least that's where she scored. So you can pretty safely assume that Emmanuel Hartnett is going to be leaving Vegas with the points lead if things play out like this the rest of the way, and if this race goes caution-free the rest of the way. We've been caution-free so far with 38 laps complete from here at Vegas. 29 laps of racing to go here in this 3rd race of the season. It's the Michael and Michael show up front. DeFeo on the inside. Davis outside, heading back into turn number 3. Advantage DeFeo on the bottom. Now he moves up top. Here comes David Byers in the 42 down on the inside. Andrew Miller looking to make it 3 wide, and he does underneath the Byers and DeFeo, but that's going to quickly get shuffled back down to 2 wide. Kelsey Higdon is here, and how about this? You look a little bit further back. Shauna Martin has joined this fight, as has Eli Bright, and even the 10 of Brock Nelson coming out of nowhere to join this fight, what could potentially be for the race win. But again, the fuel strategies are going to be vastly different, or they are vastly different. So we might see some drivers with the possibility of not being able to make it the rest of the way. They might have to come on down, but we don't know which ones yet until we get to that point. But there's also going to be other drivers that will roll the dice. I mean, there's always a possibility of that happening, so we're just going to have to keep our eyes peeled open and wait and see what happens when we get down to that point from here at Las Vegas. This time by 25 laps of racing to go from here at Las Vegas. Kelsey Higdon in the 15 leading the charge. Samet Oskin in second. A little over a quarter of a second back now, a little over a third of a second. That's Shauna Martin in third. She's also, remember, she is also third in the point standings as well. So Shauna Martin on a pretty consistent roll. On a roll with consistency, rather, here in the beginning stages of the year. And almost a fifth of the way through the Menard Truck Series season. Remember, this season is a 15 race season for the truck drivers, so they don't have as much time to go out there and make something happen, unlike the Xfinity guys or even the Cup drivers. So for trucks, it's your time to shine, and you're not given a whole lot of races to do it. But you got to make every single one of them count. And so far, I would definitely say Shauna Martin is making them all count consistency-wise. And as for this race, Samet Oskin is trying to make this race count. He's trying to get his first Menards Truck Series win. Overall, he's trying to get his first WRLA win. That could potentially happen here tonight, as now he finds himself in the middle. Tyler Ferris diving to the inside, 3 wide for the top position coming off of turn number 4. And it will be Ferris leading that lap with 22 laps of racing to go from here in Vegas. Brock Nelson now moving up into the second position as Ferris now starts to check out from the rest of this pack. Could Dodge potentially get their first win back here in WRLA? I mean, that's always a possibility. We have yet to see Dodge go to victory lane in any WRLA sanctioned race. Actually, no, I lied. Alex Bonsignor drove a Dodge to victory lane back in 2017 at Talladega. But as far as Truck Series action, we have yet to see Dodge win a race. Could today be the day with Brock Nelson in Dodge's return to WRLA competition? It could very well happen here tonight. 20 laps of racing to go from here at Las Vegas. Tyler Ferris leads the charge. Lopez under fire from David Byers. That is for the second position. There's some more trucks further up ahead, and oh boy, that is Max Anderson to the 38. That is such a shame. Started on the pole in this race, and now he finds himself dead last. Carson Green back here as well. That's a shame. That is a massive shame. You hate to see it as well. If you are Max Anderson or even Carson Green, who both had some spectacular starts to the season. And unfortunately, It all that run, at least the miracle run to start off the year, unfortunately is going to go sour coming up on the 1/5 mark of the year for the Truck Series season. Byers to the inside of his teammate for the race lead. Michael DeFeo up here. He's going to move up to the outside and give Bradley Ream some room on the bottom. Emmanuel Hartnett trying to go for his second win of the season. He has had a ton of speed in these first two races. Again, he won at Daytona by 4 1/1000ths of a second. He finished inside of the top 10 at Minnesota when we had that when we had the crash with 41 laps complete. Game crash to be more specific, but again, Blaze would joke with you and say that it was a power outage that Minnesota experienced that ultimately gave Haley Tullis the win. But here in this race, Emmanuel Hartnett once again showing the speed that he has underneath of this number 7. Hartnett is absolutely determined to go out and try to win this championship here in the Menard Truck Series. And I mean, he is showing it very early in the going of this year. The stats do not lie, ladies and gentlemen. Hartnett now to the inside of Byers. Eli Bright looking to try to make it 3 abreast for second, and he will. That is great news for Tyler Ferris as now he starts to check out by just a little bit. Probably going to be at least 2/10 across the stripe. And indeed, that was the case. Hartnett managed to nab second away from Bright from the outside line, but it will be Bright with the advantage coming off of turn number 2. You got Shauna Martin up here as well. Third truck on the inside line in the 76. Right behind Wayne Lopez, and behind her, that is Bruno Giacomo in the 9 machine. Having himself a really good run here tonight. 14 laps of racing to go. And again, Ferris has to absolutely love what he's seen in his rearview mirror, because look at that gap that he has between himself and the other 2 trucks of Bright and Hartnett, who are still side by side. Not for much longer, though. Bright breaks free from the clutches of Emmanuel Hartnett, and now he's going to set his sights on Tyler Ferris. So it's also pretty shocking to me of how we have not had a caution here in this race, at least in the entirety of this event. So these drivers have definitely been doing a pretty fantastic job of keeping their trucks straight and keeping them clean. But as for Eli Bright, he really wants this win. He's glued to the back bumper of Tyler Ferris, heading down the front straightaway with 11 or 12 laps to go. Wayne Lopez there in second, Hartnett in fourth, Shauna Martin, Giacomo, and Kelsey Higdon. That is 6 trucks, all single, or 7 trucks rather, all single file, closing in on 11 laps to go. Hartnett, or I keep thinking Hartnett, but Wayne Lopez looks low on the 0-2 of Eli Bright heading back into turn 1. Hartnett is going to follow in the tire tracks of Wayne Lopez, as now he moves up to second. Hartnett is going to try to get 2 birds with 1 stone. He can't quite make that run happen heading into the 3rd corner. He's going to have to set him up going into turn number 1. 2 hands in the air, and there's 10 laps of racing to go from here at Vegas. You still have to wonder just exactly what the fuel economy is going to look like for all these other drivers, especially at this particular rate. Because remember, pit stops happened right around lap 30, so closer to the halfway mark of this event. So there could still be a chance that there are going to be drivers that might not be able to make it the rest of the way. Either that, or there's going to be other drivers that will try to roll the dice and make something happen to see if they can try to get themselves either a really good finish to turn their seasons around. That is, if you're deep in the point standings, or even better yet, a win here in Vegas. Lopez still holding off Emmanuel Hartnett. as Tyler Ferris continues to lead the way with 8 to go. Shauna Martin sitting in 4th, Kelsey Higdon 5th. Here comes Wayne Lopez down in the inside. He tried to make that run work, but he couldn't do it, heading back into turn number 1, and he has to stay glued to the back bumper of the 45. 3 wide here for the 3rd position, or at least what looked like for 3rd. What looked like 3 wide, rather. Shauna Martin, regardless of that, breaks out with 2nd, or with 3rd. As Lopez is going to gun for the lead on Tyler Ferris, heading back into turn 1. Shauna Martin is going to follow. Kelsey Higdon is there as well in the 4th position, waiting in the wings. Coming up to 6 laps to go. Shauna Martin now is going to try to gun for this top position, and here we go. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen. Shauna Martin cannot make it the rest of the way. She has to come on in. Byers and Oskin are in as well. John Andrews in the 25 is in. This is going to be interesting to see if all these drivers have to come on in. Looks like Lopez and Ferris, they're all going to stay out. And look at Hartnett and others. They're all coming on in. Ream, DeFeo. Oh boy, Noah Clifton mowing the lawn as he came onto the pits way, way, way too hot. Gordon, Chastow, Haley Tolis, they're all in as well. Meanwhile, up front, Ferris and Wayne Lopez, they will surrender 1st and 2nd to come to pit road. Eli Bright stays out, so he will assume the race lead. Foster Henderson will assume 2nd. Liam Davis will be in 3rd. Then it's Bryce Egan, Ronald House, and the 44 of Billy Kidd. All inside of the top 6, but those are the rest of the other drivers that have to come on down. And there goes the 0-2 of Eli Bright. Foster Henderson, Liam Davis, and several others. They're all coming on in to pit road as well. And meanwhile, up at the front of the field, I don't know, but I think Carson Green made his way back out on the racetrack. Either that, yeah, he was already on the racetrack. But he is coming around Wayne Lopez with a full head of steam. I think he already made his pit stop. I saw Max Anderson come out. 2 laps to go. Man, this is actually a pretty odd spot of the race to try to figure out who's going to be leading this thing. Coming to the white flag, I think it's still going to be Wayne Lopez, because here comes Eli Bright. He's already making his way back down on the racetrack, and it will be Wayne Lopez who will have the race lead coming around to the white flag. 1 lap of racing to go from here at Las Vegas. And this is actually kind of insane, to say the least. It's about a 1-second gap between himself and Bruno Giacomo, who has occupied the 2nd position. Back straight away one more time. Heading back through turns 3 and 4. The 3rd time was the charm. Wayne Lopez comes off of turn number 4. Checkers are in the wind, and Wayne Lopez is going to win from here at Las Vegas. Bruno Giacomo will come home in 2nd. Emmanuel Hartnett continuing a masterful run with 1/3 of the season now complete. He finishes in 3rd. Tyler Ferris, great run for him. He'll finish in 4th, then in 5th, and completing your top 5. Actually, wait, that was the checkered flag. What in the world? Was I a lap ahead? I think I was a lap ahead. Well, regardless of that, I can't even believe I just did that. I can't even believe it. Oh my goodness gracious. But regardless of that, Wayne Lopez still won the race. Wayne Lopez still won it from here at Vegas. Bruno Giacomo still finishes in the second position. Emmanuel Hartnett again, continuing that masterful run that he's had with now 1/3 of the season complete. He finishes in third. Shauna Martin still in fourth. And David Byers, who actually holds off his teammate of Tyler Ferris for the 5th position. So Ferris will finish in 6th. Then Eli Bright in 7th. Michael DeFeo will be finishing in the 8th position. Then in 9th, Bradley Ream. And Kelsey Higdon completes your top 10. Nobody went out of the race. Nobody smelled what the rock was cooking. And only one driver finished one lap down, that being Noah Clifton, who unfortunately, he must have gotten a pit road penalty when he had a very, very, very illegal entry into the pit road. But regardless of that, not much that Noah Clifton can lose here, because he is not running for the championship here in the Truck Series. Carson Green, his teammate, is, however, but he manages to finish on the lead lap and avoid going one lap down to our race winner of Wayne Lopez. He gets the job done here at Las Vegas. And how about that? Again, for Emmanuel Hartnett, won at Daytona, finished inside of the top 10 at Minnesota. Today, he finishes third. He easily will be leaving with the points lead after tonight. And as for Haley Tullis, fortunately, she wound up finishing in the 20th position, but still a good race nonetheless. And she will still remain inside of the top 5 in the points standings, leaving here at Vegas. Well, as far as Truck Series action, that is going to do it. But you'll see Truck Series racing back on your screens when we go to, I'm actually going to go ahead and look back through the scheduling for the Truck Series. The trucks will be back on April 10th when we go to Martinsville. So the truck drivers definitely do get a pretty hefty break, if you ask me. So a little over to just about a month and a half before we see these truck drivers back in action when we go to Martinsville. But as for the action from here, Las Vegas tomorrow night, we will be WRLA Xfinity Series racing. 81 laps of competition for tomorrow night. So that's actually going to be pretty fun. Be sure to catch that live tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. The full race replay will be going up the very next day. Well, that's going to do it from here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Menard Truck Series. One more time, congratulations to Wayne Lopez on nabbing the victory from here at Vegas. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. Y'all take care, and we'll see you all tomorrow for WRLA Xfinity Series action from Vegas.